Okay, so we're discussing merge trains, and I kind of want to go back in history and understand where it started and what was the need.
The history. So at the very beginning, if I remember correctly, 1 year ago, we introduced pipelines for merge requests. This is beginning. Like the concept is that a user can create a pipeline in the context of merge request. So yes, back then there are no clear distinguishment on the pipeline that if it's created for merge request or if it's created for protected branches or development pipelines, there are no clear distinguishments. So we introduced pipelines for merge requests, which is specifically designed for merge requests. And this is a very first iteration. And at the very beginning, we had we already had the merge train issues. So we had a clear vision that we want to implement this feature at the end, but merge train is such a complicated feature, so we have to address one by one as a iterative approach. So we began with pipelines for merge requests. And at the next, we built pipelines for merge results.
So
this is
the first one was basically a merge request for a specific branch, right? Not for master.
Pipelines for merge requests. So master is a very special branch. Master is basically protected, and then typically developers at first branch out from master and then create development commits and testing. And then once maintainer approved the merge requests, and the merge commit is going to be merged into master branch. So master is only one the latest source and the only one thing. But yeah, so merge requests and a master, those are a bit different. And what we introduced was a pipeline for the merge request.
Okay. And that was for single, not for parallel, right?
You mean parallel? You're talking about merge train?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are not merge train yet. At that moment, we wanted to build merge train eventually, but before that we had to build something fundamental thing, like pipelines for merge requests. So pipelines merge requests, pipelines for merged results, and pipelines merge train. Yes. So if you really want to understand the whole history, you have to start from pipelines for merge requests. Yes.
Okay,
and
so
then, yep.
So we started with pipelines for merge requests, and do we currently have any pending or blocking issues regarding that, or we addressed everything before continuing to merge results in the next steps?
I don't think there are pending issues or something. Just from my perspective, it's complete. Pipelines for merge requests, it's complete. It's already being used by users. I often see that users are commenting, giving a feedback about the future, and I saw a lot of community contributions that hey, I want to improve this feature, which was really great. So yeah, that was the first iteration.
Okay. Okay, and then the next step was merge results, right?
Yes. So pipelines for merge results. How can I explain it? Pipelines for merge results. To understand it, you have to know the basics of Git a bit, because it's tightly connected with the Git the terminology, the architecture. So basically, the pipeline for merge result is that it's pipelines for merge requests. The pipeline was created in the context of merge request, but the pipeline runs on special Git reference. So typically, like pipelines for merge requests or branch pipelines, like pipelines run on master. The pipeline runs on the Git reference, like master branch, or if you created if you created a Git branch, something, let's say future hyphen, like blah 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 or something. The pipelines run on the Git reference, Git branch name, or Git tag. But the merge result is a bit different. It actually runs on merge results between the source branch and the target branch. And have you ever created merge request?
I have.
Yeah. So like in the merge request, you see that source branch and the target branch, like you created, let's say future -1 branch, then you can see that the source branch name future -1 into master branch. You typically target master branch, right?
Yes.
And if you created pipelines for merge result, the GitLab automatically creates merged commit from the latest master and the latest future branch, and then creates a pipeline run on the master on the merge result. So maybe you're wondering, like, why do we do that, right? The point is that one sec. How can I say? Yeah, sorry. The point is that everyone wants to run pipelines on merge results, not source branch, because merge result is way more accurate. Like after maintainer merged the merge request into master branch, like the new pipeline runs on it. New pipelines runs on the new commit, and sometimes it breaks. The pipeline doesn't pass the test because of some race conditions. So like the idea is that we want to make sure before merge happens, we want to run the pipelines on the prospective merge commits and make sure that pipeline will pass in master branch. So that's the idea. That's a core idea of pipeline for merge results.
That we already know what's going to be merged to master. And that's why we want to already test our new merge request on that branch, correct?
Sorry, can you say that again?
So I have a merge request. I know that master at some point will be updated to that merge request result, right? And then master would be updated if once that's completed. So if I have another merge request, I test it on the merge request branch and not on master, correct? Because that one's more updated.
Yes, and also you can create a new merge pipelines for merge results, which means it fetches latest commit from master branch, and so you can test always with the latest master, even if like a master got a 500 commits and it's very advanced than when you started development. You just need create a pipelines for merge results so that you can see the prospective commit.
Okay. Okay, so how about over there? Do we still have items open regarding merging to merge requests, correct?
Which issue?
I remember there was something about the ability to fork some issues regarding parents that continue by themselves. I'll look for that.
So like you're talking about 12.4 item, right? It like pipelines for merge results.
Yes.
The merge train isn't compatible with forked projects.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is we want to resolve. This is a very big topic, and we defer it when we worked on the initial iteration. And now it's strike back, and we want to ship it. Yes, that's where we are now.
Okay. And in parallel to that, no pun intended, we're working on merge trains where we are also kind of in mid-development because we already created the possibility to do merge trains. We started with single merge, and now we have parallel merge, correct?
Yes.
And as we discussed on the issue today, the concurrency now is by default 4, and then can have up to 10 concurrent merge requests, correct?
Yes.
And I understand that there's a lot of confusion, and you have been collecting feedback about merger trains and the different statuses. One of them that we discussed also asynchronously was the detached label. So can we touch a little bit about that?
So let's talk about detached level. When we shipped pipelines for merge requests, there are no detached level. We just label all pipelines in the UI like merge request tag, like merge request level. That indicates that this pipeline was created for merge request. It's a bit different from typical branch pipelines. That was everything. And at the next iteration, when we worked on pipelines for merge results, we renamed the label from merge request to detached. The idea is that we wanted to indicate users that when they see detached level, they have to maybe there are some reasons, like maybe because their merge request is work in progress. If it's work in progress, the pipelines for merge result cannot be created. So detached level is shown and like indicate to users that hey, your merge request is not ready yet. So just make it ready and run pipelines for merge results. That's the intention of detached level. Actually, the detached the word comes from Git terminology. Yeah. And it seems some users are confused with what the detached means, like Ryan summarized in the UX research, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, to me, it's also confusing. So we want to rename it something, or we want to
maybe instead of detached, if it represents work in progress, it should be work in progress.
Yeah, something like like I said, we just want to say that the pipeline didn't run on much results. That's what we want to say, and the detached is not appropriate to tell the intention. So like as long as what we can tell, we can express users that what we want to tell. That's the solution can be anything. I know that at least it's not detached. Yeah.
Okay. How about some feedback that we've been receiving from merge trains? I saw that you opened an issue for that.
So it's very interesting because like today I saw a comment from Dylan. He's configure teams engineering manager, that hey, mastering didn't work as expected. So I dived into the merge request and investigated a bit what's going on. And it seems that they were using a bit different way than like how it should be used. So yeah, the reason why I created the issue is that like we maybe want to add a troubleshooting section that like if you use this way, maybe the feature doesn't work as intended. So like please use this way, please don't do this, something like that.
Okay. Where do you see, I see that you keep opening also bugs and feature requests for continuing merge trains. What do you see is really needed when using merge trains, or what's missing from today's use?
Fork support, which is scheduled 12.4. Yeah. This is very important because, for example, our project, GitLab CE, EE, widely welcome external contributors. But currently, like we say, hey, we want a dog fooding merge trains, the pipelines for merge results. But actually, it doesn't support fork workflow, which means we cut out external contributors. It's not technically true. I mean, like this you can submit merge requests, but it's lame. So I'd also see that yeah, it seems to me the other organizations, like especially open source projects, like some GitLab hosts some big open source projects like GNOME, and often they use fork workflow, but they want to use merge trains as well. So supporting fork workflow is big missing feature. So we want to support it.
Okay. Any other development strategies that we're currently not supporting in terms of merge trains and merge requests?
I don't know. Maybe merge train, the strategy. The strategy itself is very straightforward. Like just enqueue merge request and create a pipeline on the merge results. It's very straightforward, and I really want the other organizations to dog food. I'm not dog food, just try out that new feature, and I want to see the feedback, like what's missing, and how they expect from the feature.
Do we know currently how many users are using it?
We can check it, but we have to log into production database, and a bit of research is needed. But we can check it.
Okay, great. The blog post, what you uploaded to the blog post for 12.1 was really, really awesome. The video that you made.
Blog post, right? It's not published yet. I don't know.
The one that you did for 12.1, where we released the parallel merge trains.
It's very basic explanation and workflow when user use merge train.
Okay. Is there anything additional that I need to know about merge trains or merge requests, or anything else you want to add?
Yeah, as I said, like fork workflow is at this moment, it's what do we want to accomplish right now? But by the way, do we ping you when a question happens in the issue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yes. Good. So it looks like we're getting into really good shape. And my next goal is to have the other development teams use it for dog fooding. I don't see why any team wouldn't use it. Who doesn't want master to be green?
That's a good point. Okay. One big blocker to enable one big blocker from enabling merge train is how to define merge pipelines for merge requests. This is a bit difficult today, and actually Verify teams are currently working on to improve the GitLab YAML syntax. That they're going to introduce 2 new keywords. One is roles, 2 is workflow. These new keywords can improve the GitLab YAML complexity, and let any users, any organization to easily enable merge train.
Great. So hopefully we'll get the statistics up and we'll have more users using it.
Yeah. So like the rules merge request was merged and will be shipped in 12.304. And the workflow will be shipped in 12.5, maybe something like that. So yeah, it will happen soon.
Great. Well, Shinya, thank you for your time. This was very helpful. And I'll see you in a few minutes in Feature Flags.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.